press that, press that button, press all the buttons, and we
Press all the necessary buttons.
Press all the buttons, and then all the unnecessary buttons, and then all the necessary buttons again, and then all the unnecessary buttons, and then the necessary buttons once more. Anyway. Anyway. Air raid. Something I will say will be kind of interesting, though it makes sense due to his nature as a combiner limb. That's gonna be small compared to Starscream and Co. Because that's the same type of plane.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But I think, if I'm correct, the original toy is sort of like that as well. But yeah. Yeah. Looks like this time around he gets his own little null rays. Except they are handheld. Not arm mounted, and I say that just because of where they wind up in jet mode. That's normally where the null rays end up.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice to have his weapons as handhelds rather than just like to his arm.
Yeah. Then again, his character design originally didn't have him with them because he was a completely different figure then from Starscream, and he is now too. And they probably didn't do the same thing to help differentiate him from Starscream. Same way the wings are down instead of up.
And the cockpit isn't like part of his chest, but instead a backpack.
Yeah. And I think part of that may have been because the original toy, I don't think this is the case for this one. The original toy, from what I understand of Scramble City style combiners, they used the head as the combiner port.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have Air Raid, we have their Sonic crossover figure.
Oh yeah, I remember you showing me this.
Yeah. I feel like this loses almost all the vehicle, at least from this angle.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that makes it feel off is they went so hard on trying to make it look effectively like Robot Sonic, and then didn't give him his shoes.
Yeah, that's probably it.
That's probably what throws it off, just that hair too much. Because if they're going all in on this, they need to go all the way. They can't go half and half. Then again, that would require probably a lot more engineering, but still, you can't go half and half.
Yeah.
If you're gonna basically make them separate, you have to make them separate.
Another thing I want to point out is his choice of weapons.
Yeah.
Like he has Captain America's shield and a gumball.
So I think what it is I think this is supposed to represent the rings he collects. And this is actually the invincibility that you can obtain from the boxes in the original game.
I know about the ring, but I didn't know about the invincibility thing.
Yeah, though I think it's one of the more modern interpretations of that. Instead of the original where you ended up hitting like almost a TV screen that busts open. I think it then kind of became almost a capsule. Yeah, I think that's what they're going for, but it does kind of get lost with the ring due to having it, you know, the center filled in. And then
yes,
this, I just clocked it myself. This is not nearly as recognizable probably as they think it is. I think this is supposed to be a car that he drove in one of the games, though. Or at least it's based on one that he drove in one of the games. Don't ask why he drove a car in a game. Every mascot character needs their racing game. Their kart racer. Then we have, this is going to be a repack of Crasher, and Crasher, this is one of the ones that they've done that was originally a GoBot that they then used Transformers mold. In this case, more so looks like the correct vehicle and color scheme than most of the others that I know. But it is technically a GoBot and not a Transformer. Though technically since Hasbro owns the GoBot license, they have kind of brought them in somewhat into Transformers lore. So however you want to handle that.
Well, apart from that, I think that the design of the character is very well made. Yeah, especially with the vehicle mode.
Yeah, they definitely ended up. So they did take the Mirage mold they have and did everything except just kept everything except the head. They just mainly changed the colors.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I think that the more that they've been doing these, the more I question if they're going to ever make flat GoBot updates, which would be really weird.
Yeah, but I feel like it would also sell, wouldn't it?
Probably. I don't think outside of like Asia, the GoBot's characters have ever had official updated figures yet. That's how early on Hasbro had grabbed the GoBot's license. Well, they grabbed that whole property in the US. At least. So yeah. The reason I wonder is because one of the ones they did this year, they had actually apparently included one of the symbols from the show. One of the proper faction symbols from the show. So maybe they're maybe they're using these to dip their fingers in, hey. Or dip their, basically be like, hey, are you guys gonna buy this? Hello? Then we have Fugitive Wasp.
Yes, this is like the one from the animated series.
Yes. Before he gets turned into Waspinator. when he was just a normal Cybertronian who kept getting beaten by Bumblebee. Yeah, I think they mainly just took the head and changed it here too, aside from colors.
I mean, that's pretty much what they did in the show as well.
Yeah.
They pretty much just took the faces of the Bumblebee in the show and the color scheme in general.
I just noticed something. Why is this horizontal but this vertical? Why is this plugged in horizontal and that's plugged in vertical?
Oh, what? Apparently they wanted you to see like all angles of the blaster, I guess. But
it might be an attempt to have it look better than see completely the bottom half underside of it. I think that's what it is. Since this cuts off here and is probably hollow on the inside, they likely did that so that it looks better in the shot. It's still funny though. Then we have Generation 2 Grimlock and Marvel Comics Wheelie.
Why did they give the Grimlock such articulate details, and then for comics Wheelie, it's just like, I don't know how to describe it, like just one piece. He doesn't even look like he.
No one is certain why they did this, especially considering the past couple releases of Grimlock. That Grimlock mold actually haven't even used this. This is the wheelie accessory that came with the original cartoon color scheme of Grimlock.
No.
Before they made the Studio Series one, which they have now, and instead of putting that in the set for some reason, they brought this back and put it in a color scheme that people probably would have preferred to have seen on the Studio Series figure. Well, the actual one that does stuff. Because, yeah, it basically is a torso with ball joints here, 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 and then a head that I think just swivels around. That's a single piece. The arm's a single piece. The legs are each single pieces, and the head's a piece. That is actually an accessory that slots into the hand, and you cannot change the positioning of the... You cannot bend the arms or legs at all. It is...
That's what makes Wheelie is just constantly plotting.
Yeah, they definitely made this pose with the intent of he's sitting on Grimlock's shoulder or on his back.
But what about when he's not sitting on his shoulder?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't have him there, it's just pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it was some sort of budget issue to try and put him in there with that. But then why include it at all? The Shattered Glass version didn't have it. The comics version didn't have it. The other Generation 2 version didn't have it. Why is it back now?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Good
you could
question.
argue with the comics version. It's because he came with multiple swords for all the Dinobots, but the Shattered Glass version doesn't come with anything else. The other Generation 2 version doesn't come with anything else. It is literally just here again for some reason, magically.
I also noticed that it looks like Wheeling is like Wheelie is holding a phone.
Due to the colors, it kind of does.
Even the shape of it, too.
Yeah.
It's like he's like showing it to Grimlock. It's like, hey, Grimlock, you want to make a wish?
So now we have the blue coloration. We have the yellow. We have the tiger stripe coloration. I wonder if we'll get a teal version of Grimlock now.
A teal version.
Yeah, Generation 2, there were 4 versions of Grimlock. One, I really do not care if they make, which is basically just standard Grimlock with this little addition. Yeah, you can see why I'm like, that one I don't care if they make it all. There's this version, there's the tiger stripe version, and then there's the teal version.
Right.
So, I would like... I wonder if they're gonna make the teal version now. They did 2 of them already.
I mean, I feel like they're like obligated to do so at this point.
Kind of, yeah. Then we're gonna have Heatwave from Rescue Bots, and judging by the kibble, he's being retooled from the Bulkhead mold that they did recently. Yeah, it makes sense. I saw so many people being like, it looks terrible. It really doesn't. The only weird thing is that technically he has 2 sets of hands. Because that and that, those are supposed to be the headlights and hands sculpted in there.
Okay, where do you see the 2 sets of hands?
So apparently, since the original figure and character design, I think, had the hands form the front of the truck or something like that, you have hand here with that and there.
Now.
But
yeah,
otherwise, I don't feel like this will look that bad as some people are just incessantly saying. It does not look as off from what I can tell as some people are saying. Then again, I've not watched that show very much at all. Actually, at all.
Neither have I.
But what I have done is played Angry Birds Transformers a lot, and he seems to resemble that version quite a bit. Then we have Hook. This is what the wiki page is currently using for him, since we don't have any good closer product shots of him.
There's Peter Pan.
He already disposed of Peter Pan.
What? But then that means that the franchise is over. How will Disney profit off of this now?
That's the fun part. They don't. I mean, seriously, would you?
Honestly, yeah.
Would you prefer Disney make money from it, or in profit, or lose money because they can't continue? Besides, they just rebooted anyway.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So, from what I understand, this is one half of the Commander for Studio Series, where I think each one technically is effectively the same as the Voyager components of Devastator. That they're doing for Studio Series. And then next up would be the War for Cybertron Games version of Ironhide.
Ironhide?
Yeah, Ironhide.
I thought that was Clifford.
Yeah, I think he needs to lay off. I think he needs to lay off the steroids. Either that or he needs to. Either that or he needs to put. Either that or he needs to end up putting some more in his torso, and maybe waist, because otherwise, his arms and legs. Maybe. Because otherwise, his arms and legs are kind of just. He looks like the person who injects like fake muscles or whatever into their arms and legs, like the fake mass or something into their arms and legs, so that it looks like they're buff without having to actually work out.
Oh, is it like some sort of like rubber like holes in it you light and just make buff?
He's less well proportioned. Kind of, yeah. He looks like he tried to. It looks like he tried to become Popeye without understanding how to actually become Popeye.
I am Ironhide, the Sailor Man. You'll finish it in the end. Yeah. I don't know how this song goes.
Then we have Long Haul.
When did Long Haul start pulling like a missile launcher, bruh?
Since they decided that they needed to store the rest of Devastator somehow.
Are you serious?
Yes. That's apparently whatever was left of that they could not engineer into the figures themselves.
It looks so terrible, though.
It is detachable.
I know it is, but what are you gonna do with it?
Well, I will probably at some point end up having a nice shelf some nice shelves that will actually have like some cabinets underneath. I'm probably gonna put all the trailers and such under there. Well, in the cabinets. So there's a simple answer for me with that. You know, when not combined. Same thing goes technically with Optimus and Motor Master and all of them. What do you do with their trailers? Rodimus, what do you do with his? Yeah. Again, it would be nice if we had better pictures of this, but we don't.
Sadly, no.
Oh yeah, we have Micromaster Hot Rod. He comes with the Titan of the Legacy line. Not Legacy line, the Age of the Primes line. He, well, at least he looks better than the Kingdom Hot Rod they did.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. He definitely looks better than that one.
I must say also that the trailer that he comes in kind of reminds me of like one of the trains from Power Rangers.
Then we have our seeming box art of Onyx Prime.
Onyx Prime? What is he, like a griffin? What is he?
I'm not... So, I don't... The main thing I know about him is that everyone refers to him as like a centaur. I don't know what's up with the wings. I think those might be new.
Yeah, because I mean, I know a lot about Greek mythology, but I'm pretty sure centaurs not wings.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure like a griffin is a lion with wings.
Well, yeah, but they're not part human, though. What?
That too.
That's what...
It's like a mix-mash of the two.
It's like a fuser.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You can see horse hooves.
Yeah, those are definitely horse hooves.
Not lion hooves, but we have the wings. We have
not lion hooves.
Yeah.
They're called paws, not hooves.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't have lion paws. Interesting.
Lion hooves.
Interestingly, they seem to have attached his triple-faced mask to a pole and decided it is technically a spear. I don't know if they're gonna make it so that you can still clip it onto his face.
Mask that turns into a spear.
Probably for purposes of giving it something to do other than potentially get lost because it's a mask. Either that or they just completely got rid of the possibility of it being used as a mask unless you just have him hold it straight in front of his face. Then we have Devastation Optimus Prime from the game Transformers Devastation. This does tell me one important thing. The cell shading I was worried about with if they do any of the seekers from that game, it will only be on the cockpits of the planes, so this is fine. Even though in the game the entire model is cell shaded, I don't know why they just did the windows of the cab. It also looks like the truck cab actually kind of suffers here from so this is actually a deluxe Optimus, and they made it so that the grill abs are real.
Oh.
So yeah, look at the front of the truck because of it. Hang on. Here's a tooth. There's a tooth. There's a tooth. Here's a big mustache. This slightly darker red is just a big mustache. Uh, yeah, I don't think they're gonna remake everyone for Transformers Devastation. They might just be doing Optimus. But yeah, this.
I think it's probably best that they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're getting more of the Captain Underbite here.
Yeah. At least not the characters that are already deluxe class. We might see versions of the Seekers.
Okay.
Because I think part of why they had done Optimus as a deluxe was to have an Optimus at a lower price point, and I don't know if it was just because it was Optimus or because he was otherwise going to be a Voyager. Just so that people could more easily grab an Optimus. Yeah. Then we have Prima.
Is he like a moon rover?
He's like some sort of Cybertronian truck.
That would make more sense.
I feel like I would like it better with a bit more Generation 1 color influence.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just.
Otherwise, it is going way too much into the Warrior of Light right now, where it just becomes like this off-white, gray mass of, okay, we get it, you're the good guy. Some more of the, even though originally it was just a generic character from the cartoon, but they based the head off of that character, so it is him. A bit more of the blues from that character to break up the white could help drastically. Say this part of the arm, the forearms, a chunk of the torso, and the shins were colored the same as the original show's character model. That would go, maybe not this upper part of the arm, but like the forearms, torso, and the shins, the colors of the original show. That would very much help break up this white into something probably a bit more something a bit less bland. Because I saw a number of people saying that the head doesn't fit with the rest of the body, since the rest of the body is based on the aligned version of Prima. It doesn't clash I don't think it clashes as badly as some people think. I feel like it just needs better colors.
Yeah, I think the head works out fine with the rest of the body. Yeah, it's just the colors that are just off.
Yeah, the colors just aren't quite doing it. It is the color scheme he pretty much has in the Book of Primus. Actually, in the cover of Primus from Aligned, except I think he's even more white there. He's even more whitish gray there. But, yeah, something else to help break it up would be better. Then we have Armada Red Alert.
He's like Judge Dredd if he was a Transformer.
You know, that would be funny if someone ended up like getting the figure and made a custom of that.
I am the law.
The funny thing is, I think in the lore, I think I had seen it mentioned, he actively doesn't like combat and war anymore. That's why he's a medic now.
He looks more like a cop than a medic, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But it could be just a matter of the colors. Well,
it's probably a matter of the color scheme and that it was a design from I think it was a design from one of Japan's shows that that ended up getting basically brought over. So that could be it. It could also be that the visor is reminding us of RoboCop.
Or Judge Dredd.
That too. And then that plus the blue is making us think cop. Even
it's
though
not the same color of blue, granted. But
yeah.
He's wearing blue and he has that visor. Makes us think it's a cop.
Yeah. Though he does have what is their modified version of the cross. For
That's true.
medical.
I did not catch that.
Yeah. Because, yeah, if you didn't know, it's actually illegal to end up, it's actually illegal to use the Red Cross on anything else. That's why they had to make it blue in The Last Night. On Hound.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is. That's also why they've been using these modified versions instead of, even though I don't know when that law came into effect, but I think the original show did have it as the proper thing, so I don't know what happened with that. But something happened, and now you technically can't use it for anything except for Red Cross stuff.
Yeah.
Then we have Silverbolt. Again with the trailer-like thing. So, yeah, so we have him, we have a shot of him.
You know what he looks like with the trailer piece on?
He kind of reminds me, very roughly, of a Venator.
Of what?
A Venator. I'm pretty sure that's what they are. Of the, well, that or a, what are they called? I think Star Destroyers? Both the Republic and the Imperial's equivalent of the big ship that usually they took out to the planets. The one that the A-Wing flew into in Revenge of the Return of the Jedi, not Revenge of the Sith. It flew right into the bridge of one of them. Those things, those big giant ones. Yeah, the Republic ones had the red stripes.
I remember now.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say it looked like the spaceship from Star Trek. I don't know. Like, it'd be like the roundness of the body. Yeah, that's like making me think of Star.
That could be. Admittedly, I don't know Star Trek, so that's why that didn't clock for me. Something I did see noted, technically there should be yellow paint, about little yellow parts on his on his waist here. But since it's apparently unpaintable plastic, they couldn't actually get it there.
How is it unpaintable?
Because some plastics apparently don't take to paint very well. And usually those are used for more parts that need to be more durable.
That's just stupid.
Would you prefer they use a plastic that can be painted, but then it would more likely snap on you?
I'd rather have that than that unpaintable bullcrap.
I don't currently know how much weight gets applied to it, but depending on how much gets applied to it, it could either bend, warp, or snap, and then the torso might not stick together at all anymore for Silverbolt. And then your $90 Silverbolt is no longer any good. Now, technically you can paint them, it's just way harder, and it usually does not fit within budget, and it is more likely to come off when you do it. So you could theoretically go in and paint it, but it's technically considered unpaintable because it would be vastly more work for very little reward long term.
Yeah, you're right.
So it is unfortunate, yes, but sometimes that is what happens with some stuff, and can't do a ton about it.
Yeah.
There. Then we have Skybite.
Interesting.
What
is he to?
He turns into a shark.
A shark?
Yes, I think he also likes poetry.
Is he called Skybite?
Because he's from Robots in Disguise 2001, which I think came originally from Japan, and I think they just had him fly through the sky as a robotic shark. Hence, Skybite.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I do wonder, though. I doubt we'll get a from scratch Cyber Shark from Beast Wars. I wonder if they would retool him into them. Well, retool him into the Cyber Shark. But I don't know how similar the toys work. For if the bones would be right. I might grab him because I might try and put together like a little set, diorama of Macadam's bar, and have like him have Jazz with his instrument that ended up showing up at one point in a comic, and a couple of other characters that I can have being like the person on stage doing some sort of entertainment. This should be Slingshot, if I recall correctly. Admittedly, a bit blockier than the actual plane.
Yeah, it also almost makes him look like a like if you remove the upper wings and you like move them down below, you can.
Yeah. I do wonder then if he's gonna I wonder if they might end up making Blast Off from him. However, I don't know if that's actually what they're gonna do. I have heard that it's supposedly notoriously difficult to make a jump jet transform and properly look like a jump jet anyway. So it could just also be issues with that, as well as translating robot mode properly. Yeah. Also, it would be very surprising if this guy could not stand on his own. Look at how giant his feet are. If he somehow falls down, he should be slightly mocked for it.
He should be mocked for it.
He's got a 2x4 strapped to the bottom of his foot. How is he gonna fall? Forwards or backwards? And then he's got two of them, so how is he gonna fall sideways? So, let's see. Then we have Solus Prime. Solus, if I recall correctly.
Let's just go with Solus.
Yeah, that's exactly correct of how we of spelling and pronunciation. So I'm not entirely certain of how I feel with this figure, because the robot mode looks fine. Vehicle mode looks like it can't decide whether it's a truck or a race car.
Or limousine.
The back, from what I can tell, it looks like it'll be kind of a mess.
Yeah.
I have also seen some people be like, it kind of looks like the Batmobile.
Which one?
I don't recall specifically which Batmobile, possibly the animated shows one. But the other thing is her size. In a number of tellings about the 13, she and Megatronus are a thing. And then gets tricked.
Wait.
Yes.
I beg your pardon. A thing?
Yes. Then basically the Loki one then comes in, gets Megatronus to end up, I'm pretty sure, accidentally killing her in a fit of rage, and then that ends up kind of leading to him being thrust out in most of the tellings of the 13. The issue is, this figure is about half the size of him, of his figure that's coming in the same exact wave. Hang on, let me see if I can go find an image of it, because she feels tiny in comparison to him as a figure size. In most of those tellings, I think they're the same height. But, Yeah, okay, take this, save image as, we want this, we want to go to the Roundup, we want to end up putting it in after this one, so name it that, sure, we'll let it load up. But yeah, they canonically are a couple. The one that is the member of the 13 that is effectively Loki messes stuff up, causing Megatronus to kill her. There we go. This is the thing I was mentioning with the size feeling bad, though.
Jesus.
Yeah. And you can see now why I'm like, she feels way too small.
Way too small.
Yeah.
Also, I can see where Megatron got his arm from, or at least the idea from Megatron.
Yeah. Well, also kind of depending on which version of Fallen and Megatronus, but yeah. This Requiem cannon is technically even stronger than Megatron's plasma cannon. The Requiem blaster, from what I understand, can basically destroy anything in its path. Yeah, probably a little overpowered. But you can see why it could easily kill another member of the almighty 13.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can see why. Or how.
Yeah. Even more interesting, usually it's Solus who builds most of the, who forges most of the relics of the Primes. So she forges the Requiem blaster just to end up eventually getting killed by it by her lover because one of the others decided to be mischievous that day.
Seems like a bad love story. Like something I would find on like Amazon or Tubi.
To be fair, I am very much probably oversimplifying it, but that is effectively the broad strokes. Then we have, so this is the Age of the Primes Titan, or at least the Titan proper of the main Age of the Primes line.
Okay, that is seriously ripped straight out of Power Rangers.
Yeah, this is Star Convoy. It is a figure. I don't recall if it was originally ever sold in the US. It was when Japan and Takara finally realized, hey, people like Optimus Prime, you shouldn't have killed him immediately again after he got revived in season 3 of the original show. Yeah, so they got the first 2 seasons. They had the film where he dies. Hasbro goes through all the trouble of reviving him in the 3rd season of the show. Takara, when they break off and make Headmasters instead of going with Hasbro's season 4, Headmasters, if I recall, early on, he gets killed again. And then they had multiple shows until they finally realized, hey, people like Optimus Prime. Let's bring him back.
and kill him off in the other season.
This was after all the this was after all of Japan's spin-off follow-ups. Instead of Optimus Prime, when Hasbro had made Power Master Optimus Prime, they had Jinrai. A guy that looks very much like Optimus Prime, but he's not actually Optimus Prime. I'm pretty sure they sold the exact same toy as Power Master Optimus Prime, but called him Jinrai instead because they were that dedicated to, no, Optimus Prime is dead. we want our own characters to be the stars. Yeah. So, I already am not 100% certain that I'm going to grab all members of the 13.
I mean, I can hardly blame you.
Yeah. I've never really liked Optimus being the 13th. It feels kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Because, especially when his whole thing is supposed to be... Especially when his whole story is typically this guy, just by his good nature, becomes this great leader. To have him basically be just the 13th member who willingly had his memories of being the 13th erased just to basically be reincarnated as the 13th once he ends up finally, I guess, figuring it out again, is just no.
No.
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
Yeah, it was heavily a move based on, well, we have this Prime that everyone knows. He should be a member, right?
That makes sense.
Because that's almost certainly why they did it. They probably did Star Convoy for it because then he'll at least look different from normal Optimus. But still.
Yeah.
Also, this is actually a smaller Titan than we've been getting recently. I think I had seen it will be $150 instead of $200 though. Then we get a shot of Superion. He uses the same system as Menasor, more or less, where he is basically a skeleton with everything slotting in. Because, well... Because, specifically, from what I understand, why they did it this way is so that you can actually have the whole combiner be very posable both individually as individual characters and combined. Because unless you want every limb to be like to take up all the Voyager slots of an entire year, or even potentially the leader slots of the year, just for them to still be roughly the same size but have everything inside of them, then this is probably the most budget-friendly way to do it. While keeping that stability. and everything being able to work on its own with decent posability. Because especially when you only get like 4 leaders already, to have all of them just be the limb the limb guys, and them to be really to be small in comparison with other leaders. People would not like that as much as they seem to think they would from having them all have everything built in from scratch. Then we have, and this is why I specified that this was like the mainline Titan for Age of the Primes. We have Select's Triptychon, the Titan's Return figure, but in cartoon colors, where instead of stickers for details, we get it painted directly on, which is
honestly is a better choice than stickers.
Yeah. I wonder, though, if this will be 200 like the previous Titans, or if it's going to be the 150 or so this is. Actually, I can't recall if it's 150 or 160. All I know is that it's like quarter less than the previous Titans we've been getting for a Star Convoy. But I do wonder if it will be 150, 160 for Triptychon too.
Yeah.
Which, if it is, that'll be nice. Aside from that, I already have to balance multiple combiners. Now I have to balance a Titan that I do actually care about grabbing, unlike this guy. Unlike this, I know a lot of people really wanted to see another Star Convoy, so I want to be very clear. I am saying this for comedic effect. This unworthy guy of the title of the 13th. Yeah. And that also isn't to say that this doesn't look like a good figure. I'm just kind of, for fun, teasing it a bit. Making a bit of fun at it. Anyway. Vortex is coming. So, not only do we have Superion, we seem to have Bruticus coming immediately after.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then we have, and this would be the last one. We have the one based on Tails that goes with that Sonic. And this seems to try and split the difference much better. It ends up having its elements of Tails. It actually even has the shoes, but it also directly incorporates the plain elements instead of trying to hide them all. It seems to do its half and half in the robot mode instead of, we have car mode and we have robot and there is no in between.
Yeah.
Which I feel works better, and I didn't even notice at first that they did give him the shoes, but him having the shoes probably works better for the for that they used his color scheme for head and arms and legs anyway. Without it seeming too weird. Actually, now I'm wondering, did Sonic even have his gloves? Because this Tails one does. And that's not their actual... Sonic and Tails are not their actual names. So he does have the gloves, okay. They aren't their actual names. Let me go quickly find what their actual names are. It's just simpler to refer to them as Sonic and Tails. Blue Booster and Wingtail. But yeah, so those are apparently what those guys are called. And so now the question becomes, which one looks the most interesting and which the least? I would have to say I am most excited for Superion. I very much like plane transformers. An entire combiner of plane transformers? Yes. Least, well, let's see if I can find anything other than my comedic relief that I've been having. No, to give the one that I've been kind of shitting on as comedic relief a break, the Sonic, this just does not work as good as that Tails. What about you?
I think what I'm looking most forward to is Crasher, because I honestly, yeah, the GoBot guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm most excited for if they like continue to like recreate GoBots like him into like you know, like a newer.
If they like update their actual appearance in their actual show, or are you saying into Cybertronian bodies?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So take them and then put them into Cybertronian bodies, so that they have at least an update, or the direct show models.
I think like give them an update in general.
Okay.
Okay.
And then least. Actually, you know what? Hang on. No. Change least. This is least.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
Yeah. Grimlock, good. Grimlock, good. Me like Grimlock. Wheelie here. That should have been the core class figure.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. This should have been the core class figure. I'm not certain how the budget would end up working out to end up being that much of a change. Hang on, can I quickly access give me a second, I'm gonna have to quickly step away from the computer and see if I can go grab Wheelie quickly so I can see just how many more parts there are. Alright. So let's see. General size, I know for certain, is about the same. So he does have arms. He does have elbows, so there's 2 more parts for each one of those arms. He has knees, so that. He has feet that go down, so 2 more of that. Has that. Let's say, okay, there's actually there's a decent number more parts, but I don't know how that breaks down into, especially when they're roughly the same size, total. I don't know how much of a difference total plastic cost that is. Because that would have to be probably the reasoning for that, but then again, why include it at all when the other two didn't have him in this static form. Oh yeah, the wheels also part. Anyway, yeah. So we're both in agreement. Least is the wheelie accessory that is. They're likely at some point going to try and make a version of him with the core class anyways. This was completely unnecessary. Yeah. Anyway. Is there anything else that you can think of to discuss?
Not really, no.
Alright. Then I shall say to everyone watching, see you next time.